Hi, I'm Srinivas. I'm a tech lead here at OC Academy. So we are a leading online platform dedicated to providing some high quality, accessible and flexible medical content for individuals that want to keep pace with the ever evolving demands of our healthcare industry. So before moving to GCP, we were having a few challenges, I would say, right? We initially, as a stealth startup, chose AWS since at that time it was the go-to infra provider. But during our usage of AWS, we understood that the infrastructure was getting harder to manage, right? There was scaling issue, especially around secure content delivery and access control, right? We also had to implement a DRM, and as Widevine is popular with Google, it had a very strong integration with Google. So we wanted to handle that in an easy manner, right? And also there is a hard complexity with other things like your signed URLs, your key management, your consistency maintenance across the environments, which we found very difficult while using the AWS. On top of that, there is also an operational overhead, right? To set up a CI/CD deployment, we had to use a third-party tool like Jenkins, and also there is permissions and integration issues, pertaining to usage of such third-party tools, which are directly integrated into our GCP using Cloud Builds and Cloud Run. So considering all these things, the operational overhead, the ease of implementation of the security context, we evaluated for this more streamlined and a scalable approach using GCP. So while we were having troubles with our existing AWS infrastructure, we evaluated options, with GCP, Azure, and migrating or upgrading the existing AWS infra. Right? What we liked about GCP was its simplicity and its strong integration across the services. Right? Features like IAM, service accounts, managed accounts, more straightforward and easier to work with than with AWS. Right? We also liked GCP's approach to logging, right? Wherein we don't have to provide we don't have to set up an existing FileBeat or ELK provider. Rather, we just log appropriately, and the logging is auto-managed by Google Cloud Logging. Right? And also we like the approach to security which Google provides, especially with workload identity managers and access using IAM. It was much cleaner, much straightforward. And also another big decision that we had was the ease of GCP's connectivity, with GitHub and Jules and etc., so that we can have a much cleaner prototyping around, and also have a much secure prototyping, basically, I would say, so that only we use identity managers and all, and set it up clearly. So this decision was mostly based around reducing complexity while also improving the scalability and security of the system. So working with Enhub, I would say it's a great experience for us, right? We had our initial conversations with Evangeline and Charles. We were able to come up with a very good solution. Francis was also super helpful. So they understood our requirements very quickly, I would say, right? And then they helped us design a very good solution that was both scalable and secure, right? One thing that really stood out for me, I would say, is the fact that they didn't just suggest the solutions. They worked very closely with us to implement it very effectively, right? During the, I would say, setup phase, we were having initial hiccups, mostly from our end, how to do the migration and stuff like that. They were able to come up with very clean solutions, I would say state of the art for that matter, right? Also, they helped us in very complex areas, simplify complex areas, I would say. Something with respect to access controls, service account managements, and I would say the overall cloud architecture, right? And overall, I'd say they made the transition really smooth, right? And they helped us move really fast and with confidence to the production phase.